It was not the prettiest game, and maybe that's a bit of an understatement. But yes, I think the reason we really came through was the second unit. They were huge for us tonight. So SA was plus 19, Meg plus 15, Frida plus 13, Taya plus 11, and that was really the game. I felt it was especially during that rough stretch of the third. It's said to the team, like, we've set a standard with the 4 other wins we've had this year, and I really didn't feel like that was up to our standards. But obviously, really glad we got the win. But we know what we're capable of, and we can play a lot better than that. And we're going to need it for this back-to-back coming up against 2 really tough teams. But yeah, I just did especially want to give a huge shout out to SA, 11 rebounds. Must be a career high, I would imagine. But I think she really led us and came up with some huge defensive rebounds that helped seal the game.
You talked about it in the pregame, the fact that fourth quarters have been so huge starting off this season. What is it, not to be funny, but that puts the fire or ignites this team in the fourth quarter that allows you to have those performances?
Yeah, I think the rotations and Brittany Donaldson does an amazing job of that, the lead assistant, just in terms of always having fresh bodies out there, and we have a really intentional rotation system, and I think that really helps. And I think the other thing today was, we weren't afraid to change the closing group, and I felt that's what we needed. I felt like we were missing a spark. We needed something, and we made the decision to roll with Meg and Frida. They were playing really well, and I think that helped a lot.
Just to kind of piggyback off of that, obviously it's incredible when you're able to come back in the fourth quarter in that way, but what do you do to have that same energy throughout the first 3 quarters so that it's not as necessary?
Yeah, and I think that was the story of the game. We started well in the first, and then we gave up 5 offensive rebounds, which led to 10 second chance points, and that's what let them get back in the game. So we've got to be better there. We're playing the Dream next, top team in offensive rebounds. Like, if we don't fix that, we're going to have problems. But then I think the third, usually we start halves pretty well, and we came out very flat. I think looked like a team getting back from a road trip, but still, I think we got to find the energy on nights like this to keep going and persevere.
During some of your guys' wins this year, it just felt like, you need all the stars to align in a way where, it's the steals, it's the three-pointers, it's the, disruptive defense, and there was times tonight where none of that was really working for you guys. So, now that you have the win secured, is it good to be able to come back and say, like, hey, we got to win even though the things weren't working for us?
Yeah, definitely, Nick. I think the covers, like, they were playing pick and roll pretty aggressively tonight, and I didn't feel like we did it as well as I would have liked to play against those blitzes and them being so up to touch. But yeah, the fact we still found a way, and we were trying so many different things. Like, offensively, let's go to this. Defensively, let's try this. But just kept going, and yeah, great sign that we were able to get it done in the end.
Alex, you mentioned Frida, who hasn't really played much. The last few games was really big for you guys late in the game. What have you kind of seen from her over the start of the season, even though her minutes have been kind of up and down?
Yeah, so I mean, we think Frida's going to be a key part of our long-term future, and that was why we moved her up. And I think it's more Sarah Williams has been playing so well, so that's why it's been tough to get Frida in at the four spot. But with our get better group, so that was Holly, Frida, and then our dev players, but always staying ready. And we say to them, you never know when you might go in, and that was a prime example tonight. We just felt like we needed something different. We tried tons of adjustments, X's and O's wise, and nothing was really working. So then you go to personnel, and I think as a coaching staff, and give Danielle and Brittany a lot of credit for supporting that decision, because I think that was what changed the game.
Like seven turnovers in that third quarter. You must have been. You probably didn't need me to tell you that again. But
I'm disappointed about what our offensive rating will be just from that stretch in the third quarter.
What's the message to the team going into the fourth quarter after a third quarter like that?
I just felt like we weren't really reading the cover, so they were either blitzing or playing up to touch, and we talk a lot about getting off the ball quickly and where we want the first pass to go against the blitz to create the 4-on-3. and I just didn't feel we were doing it. And then, we did get a few. We were trying to essentially manipulate the X5 to soften up the cover and have them more in a drop, and that led to Carla getting downhill a little bit. But I think we just got to keep tidying up the cover solution, so whatever the cover is, we have an answer for it.
Another clutch performance by Carla there in the fourth.
3 in the steal, that was huge.
And an assist after that to Frida. What is it about Carla that just puts her in those positions pretty regularly?
I think she's not afraid to step up in those big moments, and I'd say she has no fear. And you saw that with that 3 on Sturi. Like, she has no fear, and that's a unique trait.
Coach, stepping back, you've got 5 wins. That's great for any team in this tough league, but it's especially impressive for an expansion team. How does it feel?
I feel proud, and it's an interesting, because I know what this group is capable of now from what I've seen, and it's tough after tonight, but when I get home, I should have a glass of wine and just reflect on that. The perfection in me is like, I know we can get to this level, but I'm incredibly proud of this group. I'm so grateful to coach them. I don't think anyone would have predicted would be 5-3 right now after 8 games. So we'll keep going.
One more. When players come out, they talk a lot about how they've been playing with joy this season. How does that make you feel?
For me, it's one of the most important things. So I'm really glad to hear that. I want us to be connected. Ultimately, at the end of the season, I want every player to say, yeah, I loved being here. I want to come back and play for Alex again and play for the rest of the staff. I think that's really important, and I think we can perform to a high level and still make sure every single person on the roster feels valued and loves the experience playing here.
How do you balance that, Alex, with how much turnover, wanting everybody to feel valued, but also like there's been so much turnover already on the roster? Like how do you kind of square those two things?
It's a really interesting point, Sean. I think that's like the nature, I think, of sports can often be really transactional, and I think it's still trying to lead in a transformational manner that comes from Vanya, comes from me, in terms of look at the person behind every player, and I think having as many frequent conversations as we can, and always trying to be transparent. If players aren't playing, here's the why, or here's what your role is, here's what you can do more of. And we actually had role meetings on the plane back with myself, Vanya, and every player. And I think just things like that are really important, where I think a lot of times I've seen there's like one meeting a season, and that's often at the end. And I want to have as many of these touch points as we can organically with the players. And it's not always going to be perfect, but we want to try our best to be as transformational as we can in this amidst the landscape of a very transactional industry.